I'm Wongster 1970, and today I'm going to be taking the side cover off of the 2006 Harley-Davidson Ultra Classic and checking the cam tensioners. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to be doing is removing this highway bar foot peg, and that is secured with a 3/4 inch bolt. Pull the hardware together. Now I'm going to be removing this side wind deflector, and that is secured with one T40 Torx, which is right below the pedal. So I have to get down here. I'm just going to move the clamp out of the way and then put the nut back on, put the bolt and the nut back on there. Okay, up in here there are two 7/16 nuts I'm going to be removing to get this off. It's apart in two pieces. Next thing I'm going to be doing is removing these two bolts. They hold the foot stand on the front foot pad, and I'm going to have to see what size they are. It looks like a pretty big Allen. I'm going to be using a 3/8 swivel Allen. Getting into this one shouldn't be a problem. Looks like it was in the lower hole. Put that back in there. And then see if I can get into this one. Looks like I can. That's probably as tight as what this one was. There we go. Here's the foot pad. This is held on with these two bolts, and they were in those holes, the lower holes. Next thing I got to do is remove the exhaust. And what I'm going to start with is removing this chrome cover. It looks like someone damaged it before, and that should be held on with basically hose clamps. So I'm going to go and take them off. Okay, we've got one clamp right here. We've got one here, and it looks like there's one up in here. So I'm going to loosen them up and then see if I can pull this off. A bolt right here that holds this cover on, so I got to remove that also. That's probably a 1/2 inch. Yep, that's a 1/2 inch. Okay, let's get this off. That looks like it's turning on the back. Oh, no, we got it. I guess it's gonna just give me enough room to get into the bolts in the front and then maybe slide it out. I'm going to have to loosen up this bolt right here because it looks like that holds the tailpipe on, or the muffler on. So I wonder what size that is. It's got to be standard. There's two nuts. I tried wiggling the exhaust out. It doesn't seem to be working. So what I'm going to have to do is remove these two bolts back here and drop the exhaust off and remove the entire thing. These are 3 or 1/2 inch bolts. And really, it's going to be easier to put this back together with the bag off, because it is almost impossible to get in here. I'm going to be removing this rear foot peg. There's a 5/16 Allen, and there's only one bolt in there. I'm going to put the bolt back in here. Well, I had to bend this bracket to be able to get the exhaust tilted out far enough that I could actually get it off. Now it's off. But I'm going to see if this shield is actually going to come off then. Might make it easier to get it back together. Now that I've got the exhaust out of the way, a drain pan underneath here to catch any oil that's going to come out whenever I remove this cover. And I should probably have a rag or something down underneath here, but this is already, something's been dripping oil down here. So I'm going to loosen these up in a crisscross pattern. This is a 3/16. And the chain tensioner is worn. And that oil is dark. Put that on there. Slide this back. Put this in the hole. There. Well, it's not horrible, but it is warm. Okay, there is a Phillips head screw down here that holds the seat on. I've got to remove that, and it seems to work its way loose, so I can probably do it by hand. There's the screw. It even has a star washer on it. It doesn't stay. Oh, I also forgot. This strap has got to come off. That's a Phillips also. Right down here. Let's see, to get to that one, you got to open up the saddlebag cover. Try not to drop that. You gotta stay in there. I'm just gonna move it out of the way. Then you should be able to slide the seat back a little bit. And with any luck, lift it up and out. Like so. Well, according to the manual, it's saying that there's also a fuse panel on this side. So I'm going to take this off and I'll be back. Okay, this cover will hopefully be the same way. It just pulls off. We have another connector for something there. I don't know what that is. Test terminal. This is the ECU, I believe. Well, there's a fuel pump relay. How do I get into it? Yes, that is the fuel pump. So I'm going to take this one out and make sure I don't lose that. I took the spark plug boots off and hopefully I can get the spark plugs out. They don't look horrible. I'm running a little rich. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that back in here. And then I'm going to ground the spark plug to the cylinder head. I should probably hook it up around here. And I'm going to do the same thing with the front one, so I can turn it over to release any pressure that is still in the system. That's a Harley Davidson. I thought the other one said Champion. Davidson spark plug. Same thing here. Ground the spark plugs, turn it over for a little bit, and hopefully I don't have any issues. With any luck, we'll just turn it over a little bit. Release the pressure, and hopefully that's enough. And puking oil, which is okay. Okay, I'm going to be removing this cover, and to do that, it is a, what did I say, 5/32, one bolt here, and then there are two up underneath here. This rubber seal is going to come out. Then maybe it'll come off. There we go. Now we got to disconnect this. There's a connector right here. And someone's underglow lights that are plugged in here. And we'll have to disconnect. As you can see, we've got these connectors here that I need to remove. It looks like they plug into here. I have a little screw that holds them on. That one goes in there. And this one goes in here. And I don't think it's really going to matter where I put them back in, as long as I have the white on the one side and the blue with the white stripe on the other side. There's a little screwdriver. This one, which looks like it's 11. Yes. And this one, wouldn't they both be in the same one? You would think. I guess not. This one's in 10. We've got two more. Got one in 11 here. No idea where this one goes. It goes into 10. There we go. That's out of the way. Now I'm going to have to cut this clamp off, because this connects the two sides together, and I'm going to have to get a piece of 5/16 inch hose so I can drain fuel out of it. This right here appears to be the quick disconnect. I'm going to pull that quick and see what happens. Hopefully I don't get a bunch of gas all over the place. If it starts leaking real quick, I'm just gonna have to close it off again. So I'll push this up and pull that out. There we go. Wow, that was easy. Okay, there's one bolt here, 7/16. I'm gonna remove that. There is one down here that I'm going to remove. And then one on the other side. Let's go to the other side. There we go. Now the tank should be loose. I'm hoping that I can just pick it up and slide it back, but it doesn't look too promising because that's in the way. I'm going to cut this band off here for the fuel line. I've got a hose line clamp on that end, and I have a piece of 2 foot by 5/16 line. There you go. That wasn't too bad. Let that drain for a while. This side is empty. Oops, almost. See if I can find a plug for that. Caps, but I guess not. Should be about empty. I'm gonna open up this one and drain it. Now I've got all fuel drained out of the tank. I'm going to try to lift this off and out. Put the cap on. I have the hoses squeezed off just to make sure. I'm going to set this out of the way. Next I'm going to take the air filter assembly off. One Phillips screw holds that whole assembly on. Yep, 3 T25 screws. Remove this, and that just slides out. It's supposed to. I guess you push down and then it'll slide out. And that one doesn't seem to want to come out. There are 2 bolts up in here. You can see the one right here, and the other one's up way in there. I don't know how those things are supposed to come out. Well, I got this thing out. There it is. This piece was up in a rubber grommet, so it would only spin. I'd actually pry it out. And the other one, I tried prying out. I gotta straighten the washer out, but it was in this, up inside the frame. Okay, we're back to a 7/16. Now I can get in here. Those 3 are out. I'm gonna go to the other side. There are 3 up in here. So this is impossible to get to. I'm going to take whatever I can get out. Get over the bench. Well, I'm going to try giving this a good tap with the plastic mallet. See if I can lift that bolt up enough that it'll actually come out through. This wire was over top of the rocker cover in the rear. It would not allow me to lift it up high enough. I actually moved it over a little bit and then it came out. So I was able to get that rocker cover off. Now I'm going to go to the front one. Okay, I'm going to loosen these up. Loosen that one, go to the other side. Loosen one on the opposite side. Loosen this one. Loosen the one in the front. And then loosen this one. Of course that one's tight to get in. I'm going to take these three out, take them over to the bench in the orientation that I got them out of the rocker cover. Okay, I'm using a 7/16 socket, ratchet. There you go. Slide this one out of the way, and came out a lot easier. Does not want to move. There we go. I have the front cylinder on a compression stroke, and I'm able to rotate both of the push rods, so we should be able to remove the rocker cover. But what I'm going to do first is remove these two bolts and take the breather off. These are a 3/8 bolt. This is a part that someone said is epoxied together. At least they thought some of them were. Move this out of the way. Now I should be able to remove these in a crisscross pattern. Okay, I was able to get these three bolts out, lift this up, move it off to the side, then I could get the push rods up through, and then the tubes came out once I got the push rods out. So I got to take this off down here, this cover, and then pull the lifters out. And I got to do the same thing to the rear. So I know that the marks lined up here correspond with the rear cylinder timing marks, or the compression stroke on the rear cylinder. So if I was to mark this, I can see the lines right up with that. Mark these two so that they line up in case the cam changes position. The chain does. There we go. Note this lines up with that line in the case. This must be the timing mark. Mark this chain and gear. So I will know if that comes off. That should line up with that. So now I'm going to remove these bolts up here in the top. I'm going to remove these bolts in a crisscross pattern. And then hopefully I can get the push rods out of there. Looks like I have to remove all these bolts. Get it up far enough. And get the push rod up through there. That one's going to come up through, I think. Can sneak the intake up through. It's not really the way I wanted it to come out. I'm going to put this back in here the way it came out. Go. I can pull the nut ring out too. Get out through the top. Put that back in there. Okay, I'm going to be taking the bolts out of this lifter cover assembly. They are a 3/16. Okay, I got all 4 of these bolts out. Of course, that's not going to come loose. Not moving. Are all 4 of these the same? Looks like it. It's not moving. Hole is towards the outside. Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Hole towards the outside. I'm going to stuff this in there for now. Keep anything from falling down inside. And then go to the front one and take those bolts out also. Which is hole towards the outside. Come on. And hole towards the outside. Okay, here we are. I've got the lock in here to keep the chain tensioner back, and then I'm going to put the tool in, which this is a tight fit. I'm going to tap it in. The tool will only go in one way, and then I need to loosen the crankshaft sprocket bolt and then loosen the camshaft bolt. So that one, this one here, that is a 1/2 inch. It's got some like Loctite on it, it's like. And then this one up here, of course, is a different size. It's a 9/16. Damn, that one's tight too. Wow. I'm going to pull the tool back out, hopefully. I said hopefully. There we go. This bolt, there's a washer on there, keep that, and this bolt, and a washer on there, and keep this all together. And there is a mark, there's a dot right down here, there's a line in between here, and there's a dot up here. But whenever I take these off, I want to keep them together. Oh, nice. There's another washer back in there that fell off. So I got to get that also. Of course, it wouldn't be easy. There we go. Slide that out. Some wear on it. It's not horrible, but there is some wear on that. Timing marks are there. Go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I'm going to loosen these up in the following sequence. 1, 2, ooh, that was loud. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I got all the bolts out. Now, hopefully, this will just come off. It is moving. Wiggle it. It's moving. Old pump gear came out with it. There we go. See, that thing's coming apart. Let's go over to the bench and see if I can take it off. And you can see why people end up messing up this washer or this snap ring, because it's very tiny and it does not want to come out. I'm using the smallest pair of snap ring pliers that I have. I should really have an angled pair, but left them at a friend's house and I haven't seen them since. There we go. This plier didn't go flying off somewhere. Just rests up against there. There we go. Yeah, that one's bad. See how badly that's worn? Wow. That didn't have much life left to it. But that'll do it for disassembling this. Next video, I'll be putting it back together.